Imagine stepping outside and the walls begin to breathe. Trumpets of coral Bougainvillea, Jasmine weaving perfume into the air, Wisteria falling like lilac rain. All of it rising from pots, helped by a trellis you can build in minutes. Today we're turning small corners into living walls with fast vines that actually thrive in containers. Welcome to Archon Aesthetic Studio, where small spaces become beautiful, practical gardens. If you love design-driven, budget-friendly builds, you're in the right place. Before we dive in, tell me where you're watching from, city and country, in the comments. I read them all and it helps me plan climate-friendly ideas for you. One, Bougainvillea balcony wall, Mediterranean color blast. Imagine a wall that burns with the colors of the Mediterranean, where every corner of stone and shadow is lit by cascades of Bougainvillea. The magenta bracts, papery yet fierce, catch the sun like sparks of fire, draping over simple railings and modest trellises until a bare balcony turns into a painter's canvas. Their energy feels untamed, wild but forgiving, ready to thrive even in the clay of a humble pot. Step closer, and you'll see the leaves glimmer in the midday light, their green a steady counterpoint to the riot of blossoms. There is a rhythm in the way Bougainvillea grows, leaning toward the sun, reaching upward, defying the limits of its container. In that struggle, there is a lesson. Beauty is not always born in perfect conditions, but in resilience and light. The air around feels warmer, touched by the heat-loving nature of this plant. It whispers of coastal villages and summer holidays, of evenings when color alone could carry joy into a courtyard. In a small garden, Bougainvillea becomes not just a climber but a proclamation that life, when given a little soil and sun, can spill over with abundance. And as the petals scatter at your feet, soft as confetti, you begin to wonder what other vines might bring their own story of color and grace. Two, Wisteria over a mini pergola, dreamy cascades in pots. Imagine a canopy where time slows and clusters of lavender blue blossoms fall like gentle rain. A mini pergola wrapped in wisteria turns even the smallest patio into a dreamscape, where every petal carries the fragrance of evening air. The flowers hang in clusters, swaying lightly with the breeze, like chandeliers born of nature's own design. Even in a pot, wisteria finds a way to tell its story. Roots bound yet determined, it climbs steadily, weaving strength through wood and wire until it spills over in a cascade of blooms. In its patience lies its gift, seasons of waiting rewarded by sudden abundance, a reminder that beauty often blooms in its own time. Beneath its shade, the world softens. Shadows ripple across the ground, petals fall like memories, and the garden becomes more than a place. It becomes an invitation to pause. There's a sense of romance here, not loud, but whispered, as if the plant itself is speaking in quiet tones of grace and endurance. As the clusters stretch downward, brushing the tops of rustic pots and pathways, you can't help but feel the enchantment deepen. And with Wisteria's story lingering in the air, your eyes are ready to discover the next vine that brings its own burst of tropical drama. 3. Mandevilla Resort Corner, tropical trumpets, non-stop blooms. Imagine stepping into a corner of your garden and suddenly feeling as though you've arrived at a resort by the sea. Mandevilla climbs upward with glossy leaves that shine like polished emeralds, and from its vines emerge trumpets of pink and red, bold as laughter, vibrant as a sunset. In every bloom there is a promise of endless summer, a reminder that color need not fade with the passing days. Even in a simple container, Mandevilla carries the spirit of the tropics. Its roots rest comfortably in rich soil, while its vines stretch eagerly toward the sun, weaving themselves around trellises as if painting joy onto the air. The blossoms open wide, their throats glowing, welcoming bees and butterflies as honored guests in this little corner of paradise. The air feels brighter here, touched with warmth and a sense of leisure, as though the flowers themselves invite you to sit and breathe a little slower. There is resilience in this beauty, steady blooms that return again and again, even when the days are hottest. Mandevilla teaches us that grace can be bold, and boldness can still be gentle. As its trumpet blossoms sing in radiant color, they set the stage for the next vine, one that weaves fragrance into twilight, turning nightfall into a curtain of scented stars. Fall, Star Jasmine Night Screen, Fragrant Living Curtain. Picture a curtain of living stars unfurling across your garden wall. Star jasmine, with its glossy green leaves and clusters of delicate white blossoms, transforms even the plainest trellis into a fragrant sanctuary. As daylight fades, its perfume rises, weaving itself into the evening air until every breath feels like a gentle embrace. There is something timeless about its rhythm. The vines climb patiently, twining with quiet determination, and then suddenly they burst into bloom, scattering stars that seem to glow brighter in twilight. Each flower opens like a whisper, carrying the fragrance of night, an aroma that lingers long after the sun has gone. In pots, star jasmine thrives as though it knows small spaces need big gestures. It does not rush, it simply covers what is bare, creating privacy where there was exposure, softness where there was only hard edge. To sit beneath its living curtain is to find yourself in a room without walls, where nature's perfume drifts through the air like music too delicate to be written down. And as the night deepens, this jasmine screen reminds you that beauty can be as much about scent as sight. From here, the path leads us to a vine whose blossoms flare like fire itself, painting the garden in hues of flame. Five, Trumpet Vine Firefall, Fiery Orange Clusters, Hummingbird Magnet. There are blossoms that whisper, and there are blossoms that roar. Trumpet Vine belongs to the latter. From sturdy green vines, it releases flares of orange and red, each bloom like a trumpet announcing summer's arrival. The clusters spill down in fiery cascades, painting fences and trellises with the glow of a setting sun. Stand nearby, and you will hear the garden stir. Hummingbirds hover, drawn as if the flowers were small beacons of flame calling them home. The air feels warmer here, charged with movement and color, alive with the pulse of nature itself. Even in a pot, the trumpet vine does not shy away from grandeur. It climbs with vigor, eager to drape every inch of support with its flaming blossoms. It is a plant that teaches abundance. That beauty need not be subtle. It can arrive with soundless fanfare, a feast of color that refuses to be ignored. And yet, beneath its boldness lies harmony. The balance between leaf and flower, between fiery hue and deep green. As the last rays of light catch the glowing petals, you sense the vine's true gift, not just spectacle, but energy, a spark of wildness tamed into your own backyard. From fire we move to dream, where cascading lavender blooms drift like soft clusters of twilight. Six, Wisteria Dreamfall, Cascading Lavender, Fairytale Vines. Step beneath the wisteria, and the world shifts. The air grows softer, the light more golden, as clusters of lavender blue blossoms fall like a gentle rain from above. Each bloom dangles in long, cascading strands, a curtain of petals that transforms any arch or trellis into a passageway from reality into dream. There is a fairytale quality here, as if time itself slows in the presence of such beauty. The fragrance is sweet but subtle, carried on the breeze like a secret shared only with those who pause long enough to notice. In containers, wisteria still holds its magic, draping gracefully over supports, painting small spaces with the grandeur of an ancient garden. Patience is its language. It asks you to wait, perhaps a season or two, before offering its full spectacle. But when the blossoms come, they arrive all at once, a waterfall of color that takes your breath away. To sit beneath them is to feel as though you've stepped into a story written long ago, where nature and wonder walk hand in hand. And when the last petals drift to the earth, they leave behind not emptiness but a promise that the dream will return, season after season. From here, the story flows into a vine whose flowers are not dreamy whispers but wild bursts of intricate beauty. Seven, Passionflower Mystique, Exotic Blooms and Edible Surprise. Some flowers arrive like poetry written in petals, and none speak more mysteriously than the passionflower. Its bloom is a vision of complexity, purple and white filaments radiating like a starburst, crowned with delicate green and yellow structures that seem designed by an artist's hand. To gaze upon it is to feel both awe and wonder, as if nature herself had drawn a secret mandala for the world to admire. In containers, the vine climbs quickly, twining around trellises and spilling over supports with unrelenting energy. Each tendril reaches as though it knows where it must go, weaving a living tapestry of green and violet. And then, sometimes, as if to surprise you further, certain varieties offer passion fruit, sweet, golden, and filled with seeds of abundance. Beauty and harvest, together in one plant. The passionflower carries the spirit of the exotic. It brings a touch of the tropics even into small spaces, creating corners that feel like escapes into another world. Its blossoms attract butterflies and bees, turning your balcony or patio into a sanctuary where colors and wings dance in harmony. To grow it is to be reminded that mystery and reward often arrive side by side. And as the vines climb higher, they lead us onward, to a flower as playful as it is radiant, with eyes of sunshine that never look away. 8. Black-eyed Susan Charm, cheerful golden climbers. Some flowers don't whisper, they laugh in the sunlight, filling a garden with joy. The black-eyed Susan vine is one such spirit, its golden petals circling a dark, watchful center like tiny suns with midnight eyes. They climb quickly, tumbling over trellises and spilling from pots, their cheerfulness impossible to ignore. In small spaces, this vine works like magic. A plain corner brightens instantly as yellow blooms unfurl, each one a burst of warmth. They grow fast, eager to cover railings, arches, or even hanging baskets, weaving ribbons of color wherever they're given support. There is something playful about them, as if they are always reaching for more sky, always ready to celebrate the day. What makes them enchanting is not just their charm, but their constancy. In the heat of summer, when other blooms fade, the black-eyed Susan continues to smile, offering flower after flower as though abundance were its only language. For those who pause, their beauty feels like a gentle reminder. Happiness does not wait for grand occasions. It blooms in the everyday. And just as their golden faces turn toward the light, so too does the garden's story move onward, into vines that perfume the evening air with sweetness, wrapping night in the fragrance of memory. Nine. Honeysuckle whispers, fragrance that fills the evening air. There are flowers you see, and there are flowers you feel. Honeysuckle belongs to the latter, its presence carried not just by color, but by the perfume it releases into the evening air. As twilight drapes itself over the garden, clusters of yellow, orange, and pink unfurl with sweetness so rich it seems to melt into memory. Trained on a trellis or arch, honeysuckle climbs with gentle determination, wrapping wood and wire with green tendrils and fragrant blooms. In containers, it thrives, spilling its blossoms down like delicate trumpets that call not for noise, but for stillness. Bees, butterflies, even hummingbirds answer that silent music, drifting in as if drawn by invisible threads. The fragrance lingers long after the light fades, like a whisper that clings to the skin, reminding you of summer nights spent outdoors, of laughter, of quiet conversation, of moments too fleeting to name. Honeysuckle teaches us that beauty is not only what we see, but also what we breathe, what we carry inside long after the flowers are gone. And as the scent of honeysuckle softens the night, the garden prepares for another wonder, one that climbs with steady grace and decorates shade with lace-like blossoms of pure white. Ten. Climbing Hydrangea Elegance, lace blooms and steady growth. Some vines arrive with drama, others with song, but the climbing hydrangea enters quietly, like a guest who changes the room simply by being present. Against wooden walls or stone, its heart-shaped leaves stretch outward, each one a note of steady green. And then, when the season turns, lace-like blossoms appear, clusters of white that feel less like flowers, more like whispers made visible. Unlike the vines that rush to cover space, hydrangea moves with patience. Its roots take time, settling into their container as though testing the earth's promise. But once it feels at home, it climbs with assurance, weaving steady curtains of foliage and blossoms that brighten shaded corners. The fragrance is subtle, almost shy, yet it carries an elegance that belongs to gardens touched by time. In containers, the hydrangea is a reminder that beauty does not need haste. It teaches us that slow growth still leads to abundance, and that sometimes the most lasting gifts are those that take their time to arrive. Each summer, its blooms return like lace woven by memory itself, adorning the garden with quiet grace. And as the hydrangea lingers in shade, the garden shifts once more, toward vines that dazzle with delicate charm and fragrance as soft as their petals. Sweet Pea Symphony, delicate blooms and fragrance of joy. Sweet peas are not bold, nor are they loud. They arrive like music carried on the wind, soft, fragrant, and impossible to ignore. Their pastel petals flutter like folded silk, each bloom a note in a melody that drapes across trellises and twine with effortless grace. In containers, sweet peas thrive as if made for intimacy. Their tendrils curl gently around supports, climbing upward with quiet determination. And when the blossoms open, the air fills with a perfume so delicate it feels like nostalgia itself, reminding us of spring mornings, freshly laundered linens, and the laughter of simpler days. There is a generosity in sweet peas. The more their flowers are gathered, the more they bloom again, as though joy multiplies the moment it is shared. Their colors, soft pinks, purples, whites, glow brightest when the sun lingers low, painting the petals with light as tender as their fragrance. They are vines that teach us gentleness, that not every beauty must be dramatic to be unforgettable, and that sometimes the smallest blossoms hold the deepest charm. And as sweet peas release their last breath of sweetness into the air, the garden turns toward a climber bold and tropical, one that paints the space with vivid hues and the energy of faraway resorts. Mandevilla Majesty, tropical resort vibes in a pot. The Mandevilla is a plant that doesn't whisper, it sings. With trumpet-shaped flowers that burst in shades of pink, red, and white, it turns even the plainest corner into a scene borrowed from a tropical resort. Its glossy leaves shine like polished emeralds, offering a lush backdrop to blooms that seem painted by the sun itself. In containers, Mandevilla thrives as if it has always belonged there. Its vines climb eagerly, winding upward with energy that feels both untamed and graceful. Each blossom unfurls like a celebration, and when gathered together, they create a tapestry of bold color that feels alive with movement and joy. There is something eternal about the way Mandevilla blooms, long into the season, refusing to fade quietly. It thrives in warmth, soaking up sunlight like a memory it intends to keep. And as it grows, it carries with it the essence of holiday evenings, soft breezes, and the laughter of friends under open skies. Mandevilla is not just a climber. It is a promise of escape, proof that paradise can be grown in a simple pot. And just beyond its tropical blaze, the garden leans toward a different kind of beauty, the timeless romance of roses, climbing with elegance and grace. Climbing Rose Romance, Timeless beauty in containers. There is a reason roses are called timeless. When they climb, their beauty is magnified, reaching upward as though love itself is finding new heights. In a simple pot, a climbing rose can become a storybook scene, its stems weaving through trellises and arches, its blossoms spilling like jewels over emerald leaves. Each flower carries a fragrance both sweet and profound, a scent that lingers like memory. The petals, velvet in texture, radiant in color, open slowly, as if savoring the passage of time. Whether crimson, blush, or ivory, every bloom whispers of romance, history, and the enduring bond between humans and nature. Placed in containers, climbing roses prove that elegance does not need vast estates. Even a balcony corner or patio edge can be transformed into a sanctuary of romance. Their resilience is hidden behind delicate petals. With light, nourishment, and gentle care, they bloom again and again, as if reminding us that beauty can endure through all seasons. A climbing rose is more than decoration. It is poetry made visible, a promise of grace that lingers long after the blossoms fade. And as their timeless beauty settles in the heart, the garden shifts toward practicality and playfulness, a climber that brings both color and food to the table. (14) Scarlet runner bean, edible beauty and vibrant color. The scarlet runner bean is a gift of two worlds, beauty and harvest, woven together on a single vine. From the heart of its emerald leaves burst clusters of fiery red blossoms, as if the plant itself is celebrating life with banners of color. Beneath the flowers, slender pods form quietly, each one a promise of nourishment carried on the same stems that dazzle the eye. In containers, this climber feels both playful and generous. It races up trellises, poles, or balcony rails, eager to fill empty air with living abundance. The flowers attract bees and butterflies, while the pods remind us that gardens are not only for wonder, but also for sustenance. Each harvest feels like an extension of the joy the blossoms bring, beauty that you can touch, taste, and share. Scarlet runner beans are more than just a plant. They are a symbol of balance. They teach that a garden can be as practical as it is poetic, and that beauty often hides within what sustains us. Their season is long, their presence vibrant, their purpose double-edged, to nourish the body while lifting the spirit. And from this union of beauty and usefulness, the garden shifts again, toward a climber that feels playful and edible, scattering joy in colors of orange and gold. (15) Nasturtium climber, playful edible vines in pots. Few plants embody joy as simply as the nasturtium. Its leaves are like playful coins of green, round, and whimsical, while its blossoms arrive in bursts of fiery orange, glowing yellow, and warm crimson. Together they spill from containers as though the pot itself can no longer contain such exuberance. Yet beneath this cheer lies practicality. Nasturtiums are edible companions, their peppery blossoms and leaves adding spice and color to summer salads. In the garden, they climb trellises and fences lightly, painting them in shades of sunlight, while quietly attracting pollinators and keeping pests away. It is a plant of delight and function, of beauty and sustenance. In containers, they thrive with ease, even in poor soil, as though reminding us that joy can flourish in the humblest of conditions. Each bloom feels like a smile offered freely, each trailing vine a gesture of generosity. The garden brightens when nasturtiums arrive, turning corners into celebrations of color and taste. To grow them is to learn that beauty does not always demand effort. It can come in playful abundance, unrestrained, spilling wherever life allows. And as these cheerful vines weave their laughter through the garden, the stage prepares for a final burst of brilliance, a tropical climate dressed in gold. (16) Allamanda Vine, Golden Tropical Showstopper. There are vines that decorate a garden, and there are vines that command it. Allamanda belongs to the latter. With its radiant trumpet-shaped blossoms, golden as morning sunlight, it climbs with vigor and paints any corner with the warmth of a tropical dawn. Each flower seems to glow from within, like drops of sunshine caught in a canopy of emerald leaves. Planted in a container, the Allamanda becomes a fountain of brightness. Its glossy foliage provides a lush backdrop, while its golden blooms sing of joy, resilience, and abundance. In full sun, it thrives effortlessly, rewarding even the simplest trellis with a regal display of cascading color. When the air is warm, the vine seems to bloom without end, as though summer itself has found a permanent home in your garden. There is a boldness in Allamanda, yet also a grace. It transforms plain balconies, patios, or backyard fences into radiant sanctuaries. It whispers of distant shores, where tropical light meets endless sky, and carries that dream to your very doorstep. As the golden vines glow, the garden prepares for its final crescendo, a climber that brings not just beauty, but a fragrant farewell that lingers in memory. (17) Sweet Autumn Clematis, the bonus showstopper. When summer begins to soften into autumn, a quiet miracle awakens. Sweet Autumn Clematis unfurls 1,000 tiny stars, each blossom a point of white light against a backdrop of green. The vine climbs swiftly, cloaking arches, fences, and trellises with a billowing veil of flowers, as if the garden itself has been draped in moonlight. Its fragrance lingers gently in the air, a sweet whisper carried on the breeze, inviting bees and butterflies to dance in its glow. Even in a simple container, this climber thrives with vigor, eager to spill beauty into every corner it touches. The blossoms arrive in clouds, transforming plain structures into celestial displays that seem almost otherworldly in their grace. There is something poetic in its timing, flowering just as the season turns. It feels like a farewell gift from summer, a promise that beauty does not fade but changes form. To sit beneath its starry canopy is to feel the passage of time softened, measured not in days, but in blooms that appear as fleeting as they are unforgettable. And so, the Sweet Autumn Clematis closes our journey, a climber that carries both wonder and memory, leaving behind a garden steeped in fragrance, light, and timeless enchantment. If this helped you grow a little wall of wonder, Give it a like and share it with a friend who needs privacy or color. Save the video for your next planting day and watch the next one, No Drill Balcony Privacy Trellis, 2-minute build, linked on screen. Until then, keep creating beauty where you are.